The following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTEST.com, and today we're going to be conducting a sea trial and performance evaluation on a luxury cruiser that exemplifies beauty and charm. It's the Palm Beach 50. She comes in either an express or fly. Clearly, we'll be testing the fly version. One of the first things we notice is the beautiful fit and finish. Cleats and chafing gear are all polished, the topsides have a gentle tumble home, and the hull is polished to perfection. Trim work is gloss finished teak and looks beautiful. The engine room is accessed via a marginally inconvenient process of removing cushions from the couch and actuating the electric lift hatch. Now, in this model, the engine room switch is out in the cockpit in a storage locker and out of sight of the hatch. Palm Beach tells us that the future models will have the switch right in the sightline to the hatch. Being in the main salon, it's also important to note the soundproofing surrounding the compartment, so we'll have to validate the effectiveness of that installation when we get underway. Of course, I'd also like to see a day hatch to make quick checks of the engine room more convenient. Once inside the engine room, there's easy access to the twin 435 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 600 engines. The pods are located well aft under the cockpit sole and are driven from the engines by jack shafts. This is an important feature as other builders take advantage of the compact profile of IPS engines and move them well aft to create another cabin space. Not so with Palm Beach. This boat, it's more about handling, as we'll soon see. So keeping the engines ahead more and thereby balancing the PB50 for optimal running is considered more important than adding another cabin. That's a very telling point right there. And it's also about having a large open cockpit for day boating and entertaining. Engine start batteries are in a secure box mounted between the engines, with the switches just behind on the aft bulkhead and under the engine room camera. For daily checks and light maintenance, there's easy access to the center platform. The oil dipsticks are to this area, while the fuel, oil, and water filters are to the port side on both engines. And the outboard sides of both is a tight space. However, the external Raycor fuel water separators are easily accessed to the forward bulkhead. Engine room intake vents are to the side of the house, just inboard of the side decks. Now, missing from this engine room are a couple of components that are moved forward inside another compartment. A hatch between the forward-facing seats leads us to the house batteries, the battery management panel, the charging system, and the 10 kW Fisher Panda generator. Additional water intakes are here for the generator and air conditioning system, and notice how the hoses are all properly double clamped. The main electrical panel is in a cabinet under the helm seat. When accessing the bow to port, we step on the upholstered couch, so the preferred method is to use the steps to starboard. And when doing so, I'd like to see a grab handle right at the trailing edge of the fly deck. But a side-mounted grab handle is right at shoulder height, and it's effective till the 26-inch high side rails come up to take over the safety factor to the 15-inch wide walk space that then widens to 24 inches at the front of the cabin. Fully forward, rail height increases to 28 inches, and the tow rails add further to the safety factor. Midship cleats are provided. Fully forward is a horizontally mounted Muir windlass leading out to a recessed and polished anchor roller. A polished plow-style anchor is suspended at the end. Polished cleats are to either side, far enough ahead to negate the need for line chocks. Fender and line storage is just behind with teak flooring, and road access is just ahead, all under a hatch held open with a gas support strut. As we make our way to the lower helm, the hallmark of a cruising yacht can be seen with the overhead grab rails 6 feet 3 inches off the deck and running the length of the salon. The helm is a study in elegance and functionality with a wood brow over a satin-finished wood panel. Front and center is a 17-inch Garmin multifunction display that provides all information, including engine info, but analog gauges are still provided to the sides. Below and left are a control for the remote spotlight, and finally, someone gets the logic of mounting the spotlight above the captain's line of sight. Alongside is the bow thruster control, and below that is the Volvo Penta display with the zip wake interceptor tab control. To the right of the main displays are the windlass control, a multi-data display screen, engine controls with IPS joystick below. The wheel is a beautiful combination of matching wood and stainless steel, and it's on a tilt base. Beneath are the electrical switches, including the wiper switches. A compass is placed alongside the helm console, but being freestanding, it's more ornamental than functional. A white light is over the helm, and adding red would be a welcome touch. Visibility is excellent out the 2 foot 10 inch by 2 foot 3 inch side windows and the 3 foot 6 inch by 2 foot 8 inch center windshield. The side window is opening and puts the operator within easy reach of the midship cleat for tying up short or single-handed, and on our rainy day we appreciated the thoughtful touch of the drip edge above the window, channeling water away from the opening portion quite effectively. The seat is a double-wide bench style, and notice the custom logo work on the seat back. Storage is underneath in the elevated platform. To port is another bench seat on a carpeted and elevated platform, allowing a pair of observers to provide additional eyes looking forward. Upholstery is ultra leather. An armrest is removable. Below are a storage cabinet and drawer, and notice the bilge pump switches at the top of the cabinet. The Flybridge helm is center mounted and forward on the deck. A pod-style console has a carbon fiber dash housing the bow thruster control, a 7-inch Volvo Penta display, the Fusion stereo, and the Zipwake interceptor trim tab control. In the center is a 17-inch Garmin multifunction display. To the right are the engine controls and the IPS joystick. Below and left is the windlass control and the remote spotlight control. The 24-inch wheel is wood-trimmed, gloss-finished, and mounted vertically. To the right are the ignitions, horn, and courtesy light switches, and the VHF. The seat is double-wide with twin flip bolsters with gloss wood bases. A flip footrest is provided for the driver. To get underway, I took control from the Flybridge helm station, and even with its centrally mounted position, it afforded good sight lines of the whole starboard side and certainly the stern, but a more side-mounted position for the joystick would be even better. The joystick functionality was dialed in perfectly to the pods, and we maneuvered sideways and rotated away from the dock effortlessly. The Palm Beach 50 Fly has a length overall of 54 feet, a beam of 14 feet 8 inches, and a draft of 2 feet 10 inches. With 60% fuel and 2 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 31,794 pounds. With a pair of 435 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 600 spooled up to 3550 RPM, we reached our top speed of 31.4 knots. At that speed, the 44 gallon per hour fuel burn translated into 0.7 nautical miles per gallon and a range of 288.9 nautical miles, all while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 450 gallon total fuel capacity. Now, finding a best economic cruise in this boat is problematic because she is so well dialed in for performance. There's no hump that the economy reaches to indicate her best performance, and reducing the throttle from top speed extends the range in a linear fashion. For example, at 2600 RPM, she went 20.1 knots and got 1 nautical mile per gallon for a range of 406 nautical miles. At 2200 RPM and 16.2 knots, she got 1.2 nautical miles per gallon for a range of 503 nautical miles, all with a 10% fuel reserve. As for the effectiveness of the soundproofing around the engine compartment, it's more than adequate for the task, as sound levels in the salon and lower helm increased to no more than conversational levels throughout our test. Time to plane is also problematic because the PB50 really likes to ride level, and she accelerates the same way, from a level attitude. The bow only comes up once she's at speed. But with that said, if we call time to plane the time when the rooster tail forms, then she planes in 4.5 seconds, reaches 20 miles per hour in 6.5, and continues through 30 miles per hour in 10.9 seconds. This is just part of the excellent handling that this boat exhibits, and we're just getting warmed up. After accelerating to plane, that's the time to bring in the trim tabs and bring that bow down to a level cruise attitude, which doesn't take much. It seems counterproductive to add the drag of the trim tabs, but trust me, her performance increases along with the visibility. Now she cuts a clean swath through the water. She has a wide turn radius characteristic of an IPS-driven boat, so tighter turns require slowing down, which increases the turning radius of the pods. Now here's where it gets interesting. It's when you get this beautiful boat offshore that she really starts to perform. To get where we could test, we took the 50 Fly across snotty 4 to 6 footers with the occasional larger, with a 6-second period between crests, and it was unbelievable how well this boat handled. It was so impressive, in fact, that I stopped the run to position the camera boat, a Palm Beach 55, so that we could make passes to show exactly what we were experiencing. In head seas, she would slice right through without a hint of hull slap or pounding. She'd throw water everywhere to be sure, but inside, we were dry, comfortable, and hardly needing to hold on to steady ourselves. All this at nearly full speed. With following seas, she'd power through the backside of the wave and plunge right through the next without a hint of stuffing the bow at all. And we were operating again at nearly top speeds. Bringing her around into beam seas showed the best characteristics, with no restrictions on speed for comfort, and she keeps a level attitude as we'd skate from one crest to the next. For someone who has driven literally thousands of boats through a myriad of conditions, to be impressed on the level that I was is indeed a testament to the handling qualities of this boat. I always say try before you buy, and any sea trial of this boat in horrible conditions better be accompanied by a checkbook, because it sure sold me. When a builder does such a good job of combining a yacht as good looking as this one to the point where everyone comes over for a closer look, with handling that is nothing short of outstanding, it makes a lasting impression, and that's exactly what happened to me on the Palm Beach 50 Fly. It's generally hard for me to be impressed with a boat, but there it is. Aside from how easy and forgiving she is to operate, she's also well laid out for comfort and entertaining, but that's another video. Be sure to look for it. For now, this is my full sea trial and performance evaluation of the 50 Fly from Palm Beach Yachts. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.